Today I bring to you from the dungeons of somewhere in Scotland, Verruca's Last Chance. A story about Verruca, one of Planet Hyman's great heroes. Verruca was sitting in a greenhouse pondering. It had recently been upgraded, revamped, and with the inclusion of new orgasms, didn't have the whiff of sewage stewing in the sun. Verruca picked a hemp leaf and crushed it under her nose and inhaled. Kate appeared, handed her a tea. "So what do you think of them, then?" "Of what?" said Verruca. "This place, the changes I've made." "Marvellous," said Verruca. "Don't sound so impressed. I might get a big head." Verruca tugged at her underwire with a grimace. Somehow the frisky poking of metal into her armpit roused thoughts in her she'd rather forget. Well, that, and the arrival of more men. It was her job to see to the men, to inspect, boss, and send back any of no use. And it was her who called Mex, the man-spy, with an "I've another for you." A call many grew to dread. A call which led to the appearance of Mex with a whip in one hand, a rope in another, and a look that terrified. A call which led to the dragging of a man back to the city, tied, gagged, and humiliated. The latest arrival was a motley crew of three, one being so old he looked like a hunched turtle. Verruca didn't recognise him at first, until he called her name. "I've got a Verruca on me foot," he shouted more than once, sparking Verruca's underwire into overdrive and the others into thinking he was mad. Before she could adjust, she knew. No one said her name like him. The two women watched the mechanical worm slide over the leaf, leaving a trail of white ooze. "Those worms are a godsend," muttered Kate. Don't know where I'd be without 'em." "Totally. Transform this place. Some people find the ooze off-putting, but I celebrate it." Verruca sipped. "Even sip it." Verruca nodded. "Excellent for toenails." Verruca took another sip. "And the vagina." Verruca gagged. "Wondered if you were listening." "It's my father," said Verruca. Kate gasped. "Your father?" In a fashion, she turned to Kate. "And he's here." Fathers were as out of date as their seeds, and as laughable as Verruca's name. Some women talked of such things, usually in a sneering fashion, while watching Earth and man's stupid ways. In fact, they were so busy laughing at men, many didn't see they were making the same mistakes. Verruca had to make a decision. Call Mex or sign him to the windmill duties? She was torn. Here was a man she hardly knew, meant nothing to her, yet she was swithering. He just looked so old and frail. Kate followed Verruca out of the greenhouse with a million questions. She couldn't contain herself. "What's it like having a father?" "Nothing to crow about." "Did you call him Dad?" Silence. "Can't imagine having a father," said Kate, "sharing the same bathroom with all those dangly bits." She shivered. Verruca stopped at the men's room and sighed. She thought of the rubbish breakfast she'd eaten the day her mother left for the last time. Saving the world had been the be-all for her mother, more important than thinking of a decent name for a daughter. Verruca could never decide which was worse, her stupid name or having a father. She looked through the spy hole. "I can't believe he's still alive," she turned to Kate. "Apparently I was a surprise. His seed, it seemed, still had a bit of life in it." Kate pulled her face. "Spent most of his time in a laboratory after I was born, being drained, as he put it. All I remember is his silly jokes and my mum pulling faces. He was ancient even then." She stared into the pea-hole again. Look at him. He can hardly breathe. How did he make it here? Why didn't he just curl up somewhere? Verruca's father disappeared after her mother's death. He fled to the arts centre where he was safe. Why he left was anyone's guess. He was sitting in the men's room cursing the piss-sweet tea when Verruca entered. He looked up with a crinkly smile. "Verruca!" he said. "It's a posh name for a wart." Verruca stiffened, but still a wart. Kate pushed a plate of biscuits towards him, followed by hemp tea, and soon he was talking of the only daughter he had. "No one believes me," he said. "I gave her a stupid name, thought it would toughen her, help her make her way in the world. I was teased mercilessly, said Verruca. He closed his eyes. Verruca looked at Kate. Was he asleep? "No one laughs at her now," he said. "I heard she's made a name for herself." "What choice did she have? You called her a wart." "A wart by any other name," he laughed. "You ruined her life," said Verruca. The old man began to snore. A month later, Verruca was walking past the windmills and saw her father on his back, eyes glazed at the burning sun, gasping for breath. In that month, she'd smuggled plates of biscuits and hemp tea, even feeding him when he could no longer manage it. He talked of his life, the years in the laboratory, his seed extracted like a farm bull. "It's not the most pleasant thing to do to your fellow man, especially when it doesn't lead to much. I was knackered before my time, useless to your mother. No wonder she did what she did." "Poor bugger," muttered Verruca. He clutched her hand and pulled her close. "Verruca!" he whispered. "Yes?" "It's a posh name for a wart." "It's still a wart," she said. "You're no wart," he chuckled. "Dad," she said. The wind rustled through her hair. He grasped her hand. He looked into her eyes and smiled. "You made my last months the best," he murmured. "Worth all the effort." "Dad," she said again, knowing that he was already gone. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it hasn't put you off hemp tea or biscuits or old people that can't speak properly. And maybe you look at Verrucas in a whole new way. So until next time, happy reading.